Thank you, Congresswoman Clark, for that wonderful introduction. And after the grueling legislative session we just went through in Florida, it is such a balm to be surrounded by leaders, activists, and friends, sane leaders, activists, and friends, who are fighting on the front lines. To our president, to Madam Vice President, and our forever Speaker of the House, to all the other elected officials and luminaries in the room, thank you for being here tonight. And I just want to bring you a little bit of good news from Florida. Because you see, there are those who say that Florida is not in play. But tonight, we just elected Donna Deegan, mayor of Jacksonville. With the help and support of Emily's List, she made history as Jacksonville's first woman mayor. She also is the first Democratic mayor in 12 years, and she just flipped the largest Republican-held city from red to blue. So tonight is about heroes. Heroes like the team at Emily's List. Thank you for this tremendous honor and for all that you do to help women candidates run, win, and change the world. Heroes like the great Gabrielle Giffords. What an honor, yes, to receive something with her name on it. And heroes like the first recipient of this award, Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams, in whose footsteps I follow. What she has done in Georgia was once thought to be impossible. She proved it wasn't. I'm working to do the same thing in my home state of Florida. Yes, I just said that. Now, I know some of you are out there thinking that is impossible. But among other things, I am the first Black woman to lead either party in the Florida House of Representatives. And that gives me a certain perspective. Sometimes impossible means might take a minute. So I'd like to talk to you about where we are as a country. In a recent poll, 62% of Americans said they could make a corporation pay attention to them as its customer. In that same poll, just 4% of Americans said they could make their government pay attention to them as its citizen. 4%. This statistic breaks my heart. People believe they don't matter. They think their representatives and their government no longer cares about them. They think that their stories aren't important. Let me tell you, I care. I care. Every single person in this country matters immensely. With everything going wrong in Florida, listening to the stories of the people has touched me to my core. Heroes walk among us and stand ready to help us restore human dignity, not just in my state, but across the country. This year, I had the privilege of hearing the stories of Eli and Kat. Like many 20-somethings, they had no desire to be involved in politics. But when Florida Republicans threatened diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in schools, not only did Eli and Kat speak up, but they organized thousands of their fellow students to fight back too. I had the honor of hearing Fred's story, who lost his daughter Jamie when she was only 14 years old in the Parkland school shooting. In the midst of excruciating loss, Fred has repeatedly shown outstanding courage in speaking out against the reckless gun laws pushed by Florida's governor. Most recently, I've held the hand of a friend who desperately wanted to keep the child that she carried, but had to contemplate having a medically necessary abortion to save her own life, and to ensure that she would be around to tell stories to the child she already had. She's sharing her story so that we can roll back the devastating 6-week abortion ban that would put millions of women's lives in danger. The Elis and Kats and Freds and the mothers among us are heroes. Now is the time to remind them that they matter, to listen to their stories, and to stand up and be heroes for them. They are Florida's next chapter. Florida is hurting. 2.6 million people in my home state are currently facing hunger. Florida ranks 50th among the states in health coverage, 50th in unemployment insurance, 50th in affordable housing, and 49th in teacher salary. It does rank number 1, however, at disinformation aimed at voters. Florida has banned books and the teaching of actual history about things like slavery. And just yesterday, the governor signed House Bill 999 into law, destroying diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in higher education. It's easy to buy guns and carry them in public without a license or training, even if you have a history of mental illness. Today, Florida is an incubator for extremism. But we are going to change that. We are going to bring back the idea of community again. We are going to remind all Floridians from every party that they matter immensely and that they are all a part of our state story and that they are part of what will bring us forward. My story is perfect proof. I grew up in Lakeland, Florida. To give you a sense of what it's like there, it used to be referred to as Imperial Polk County. If you don't know, that is a KKK reference. My mother was a school teacher, and my father was a dispatcher. They worked so hard to build a good future for my sisters and me. In high school, my oldest sister made history when she became the first Black student to be elected senior class president. She became my hero when she proved that it wasn't impossible for a young Black woman from Imperial Polk County to lead. Her story is the reason I felt brave enough to step up to leadership positions in my own life. I took over the role of minority leader extremely late last cycle, but with almost no time left on the clock, we broke every fundraising record and implemented innovative elections programs that helped our priority candidates, who were deeply down ballot, overperform the top of the ticket in a difficult year. More than that, we are building a coalition of diverse communities who can come together over their common ground. The people whose stories are being suppressed, whose rights are being stripped away, and who aren't going to take it lying down. This is their moment. This is our moment. The pendulum is swinging back. In 2020, minimum wage went on the ballot in my state and got 60% of the vote. Minimum wage, that's our issue, 60%. Voters in my state overwhelmingly agree with us on lowering the cost of prescription drugs, on building better schools, on protecting our waters and skies, on climate rescue, on violent history checks for gun buyers. And there's a grassroots effort right now to codify Roe v. Wade in the Florida Constitution. So yes, I believe Florida will be the next Georgia. Yes, I believe that is what Floridians want. And we're going to save the Sunshine State. It's 29 electoral votes, and with it, democracy itself. And we are going to do it together. How? By reminding people that they matter, by following in the footsteps of the heroes who came before us, and by joining forces with the heroes in our midst, by honoring the stories of the people. I believe that every American deserves the freedom to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. Say that with me. Every American deserves the freedom. Oh, y'all need to wake up for me now. Every American deserves the freedom to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. This, for Florida Democrats, is our message. This is our credo. It's a powerful messaging frame, deceptive in its simplicity, and it calls people into our collective story of saving democracy. I know the power of this story, but I also know that I can't tell it without your help. So that's what I'm asking for tonight. I'm asking you to join me in this great effort. I'm asking you to help me save my state and our country, because together we can be heroes. I know that you are all out there every day working for a future we can all be a part of, and I'll be fighting alongside you every step of the way. And when we come together again, I cannot wait to hear your new stories and to tell you about mine. Thank you so much for this honor, and good night.